Hello, everyone. Welcome to Unmuted Love. I'm so pleased to have you here today. This is the second podcast with Layne Burkette. This is such a treat, such a delight. Welcome, Layne. Thank you so much for being here. You are a somatic therapist and the founder of Life Balance, and you have a lovely somatic practice and online courses for teaching others to live a more peaceful, on the body level, right life. Layne does all of this while parenting her 4 children, which is phenomenal. She's amazing. And I'm here to learn everything I can to support her beautiful, life-changing work in your lives, because that's what I'm hoping for. So welcome, Layne. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for that warm introduction, C. I really appreciate it.
We have 2 episodes back to back. We've already done one, and that was sort of our overview. And then this one is going to be, the first one is going to be about parents, and the second one is going to be about kids, right? And we're all about regulation around here. So that's really the topic for today.
Yeah. And this episode, we're going to go deeper into kind of what happens inside of a parent during those hard moments and why knowing what to do sometimes it just isn't enough, and why parenting advice can fail under stress because our nervous systems are overloaded in many of the caregiving situations that we're in. And so these little small regulation moments that we'll practice and we'll demonstrate today together, that can really change the family dynamics.
And this is my hope. So all of you who are watching or listening, I want you to think of this as your special place where you can come to and actually follow along with Layne as she walks us through some of these really lovely brain-body balancing skills. They're actually skills, and they could be routines that you follow every day so that you can have a dose of this just by coming here and following. So that's my hope. We'll see how it all unfolds.
Yeah, let's actually start just by really connecting with ourselves so that we can be open to this type of learning. Because when we're coming in, if you're coming in and listening or watching and you're stressed or you're doing 10 things at once, or you're coming off an intense moment, it's going to be hard for you to really take this information in. So let's actually just invite in a really gentle pause to set the stage for this episode, if that works for you, see?
Yeah, that's great for me. I'm a little revved up, so I do need to kind of
Yeah.
get into my body for sure.
Oh, perfect. Well, let's start just by feeling your feet on the ground and just take a nice, gentle, deep breath in through the nose. Float that breath down the throat, into the chest, maybe even into the belly a little bit. And then exhale, gently release that breath up and out the nose. Good. And let's do that again. Inhale, nice deep breath. Float that breath down the throat, the chest, into the belly, nice and slow. And then exhale slowly out. And as you exhale, just feel yourself soften. Soften your jaw, soften your shoulders, soften your face. Now inhale again. Take that nice deep breath. And now we're just going to pause at the top of the inhale. And then exhale, slowly release that breath. And gentle pause at the end of your exhale. Inhale in again. Gentle pause. And then exhale, slowly release. Gentle pause. One more time. Inhale. Gentle pause. Exhale. Gentle pause. And now just notice your body. Notice your feet and your legs, your belly, your chest, your shoulders and your arms, up into your neck and your face. Let's take a nice big full body breath. Breathe in, float that breath through the entire body. Just bringing softening and peace. Now exhale, just soften everything. Give yourself permission to be here in this moment. Let yourself be present. Your nervous system matters. And this work is not about becoming perfectly calm. It's about learning how to return to your center. So just setting that stage to be open to learning, to growing, to letting yourself be present today as you listen or watch, to be here with us. We're all learning and growing together. One more nice deep breath. And this time, let's just do an audible exhale. Good. And then just gently notice how your body feels now compared to when you started. What do you notice, see?
Yeah, interestingly, my energy was way up here, and
Mm,
sort of the top of my chest and my head, my face. And now I feel like it's spread all the way through my body. So there's more space for all the energy. That makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. It really opens you up to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I never say what you say when I tell people to breathe or we're doing an exercise and I say breathe in. I tell them to hold at the top, but I never say
Mm,
gently hold. And that is actually, it's a different experience.
yeah. What was different for you?
I think when I say hold it as long as you can, it brings some anxiety about how long you can hold it.
Yeah.
And so even though I'm not intending to do that, I think it does. And so then there's this kind of light feeling, like a survival feeling that's about to kick in because of lack of breath from holding.
Yes, some people do experience that, and some people almost feel like they're underwater or there's like pressure upon them when they're doing that hold. Sometimes the square breath I love to teach, but for some people that is anxiety provoking as well. So this is a beautiful entry into really acknowledging that everyone has a different experience with this breath work, and it's all welcome. And I think what's really important is to acknowledge that it's exploration. You get to try these things out, and some of these will resonate really strongly with you, and others you'll be like, oh, that didn't resonate as much with me, or I didn't have as big of a response. That's okay. It's all information, just like our emotional experiences. It's all information. So I love that you bring that up. It's really powerful.
Yeah, it's fun to do it with someone else, because just little slight differences really make a difference, or it
Yeah.
can really make a difference. They don't always, I suppose, but it can
Mhm.
really just make a little shift, right? So like if you're listening to someone on YouTube and you're trying to meditate with them or do breathing with them, and there's just something a little different or a little that doesn't fit your nervous system, you can
Mhm.
be like, oh, this doesn't work. But it's not really that this doesn't work. It's just that this presentation, this moment is not working for you right now.
Yeah. And it might just be in the moment. It might just be in that particular moment. Like you said, you were coming in, kind of worked up a little bit today. So maybe a different breath, a different day would have had even a larger effect upon you to relax or to get into your body, or smaller. It all varies between what your experience is in that moment, day to day. That's why this work is so beautiful though, because it meets you exactly where you're at. And you get to learn these skills and then you get to pivot, you get to shift. But what I also love about what you said is that to be guided. And that's the power of a lot of this, because a lot of parents, they feel like, okay, I don't know what to do. When stress hits, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to respond. Am I doing the wrong thing? They go down into a shame spiral or guilt or anxiety or worry. And ultimately, when we're connected with our nervous system and we utilize these skills, that keeps us from heading down those paths. And we are able to feel empowered. Okay, I can calm myself and then I can respond to my child in an aligned way that feels connected to me. It's in line with my value system. I'm not spiraling out. So that's the beautiful part of this work too.
Will you say the title that you thought this episode would have so that parents can hear it? Because
Oh, sure.
it's a good title.
Sure. Why your regulation matters more than parenting skills.
Yeah, so I spend my whole life teaching parenting skills. And what I end up saying my whole life is, oh, regulation, regulation, regulation. You are at the center of the diagram of concentric circles, right? About your child. It's not your child at the center, it's you, right? Your regulation and you are the foundation, and all the other circles build on top of that, all the way up to felt safety for your child. You
Yes.
know? Right,
Yes.
right at the
Yes.
core is this. It's not a parenting skill per se. It is a skill you can learn to regulate, but it's just different, right? It's like it's the core of everything.
Yeah. And our children, they don't need perfect parents and they don't always need the perfect set of skills or the perfect script. I don't have it. And I know that you don't have it. Like they need repair, they need regulation, they need parents that return and they're able to connect. That's what they need. And the only way that parents can successfully do that is from a regulated nervous system. Because when we're heightened, when we're outside of our window of tolerance, like we've spoke about at the last podcast, it is so much harder for us to connect and to really be that regulated presence. It's not going to work. But when we do this work, it is transformational. It's transformational not only for us and for our relationships, but for our children. They feel it.
It's interesting because when I came in today, I wouldn't have said I was dysregulated.
Mm.
I wouldn't have said that. And yet, after we did the breathing, it was clear to me I was dysregulated. I was talking from a very shallow place in my body, fast and excited. And I was
Yeah.
actually a little dysregulated. I don't think I was like super far outside the window of tolerance, particularly, but pretty upregulated. But I didn't know that until we started to do the breathing. And I'm like, oh, wow, I actually am pretty dysregulated. So there are
Yeah.
times when you could just be doing what you do in your parenting life and be completely dysregulated and not really recognize it, right?
Right. I like to call it activation, and it's not always a negative thing. Like nothing was going wrong for you. You were kind of excited, like you were just activated. And for different people, that looks different ways, but it might be super excited about something and you're just activated. You're not exactly in this calm Zen state, and that's okay. It always doesn't have to be something that like is perceived as negative or positive. And again, that nervous system, any type of like of that overwhelm, that changes your access to like feeling more patient, maybe clarity, being able to really think clearly or emotionally regulate. So we're talking more nervous system regulate, but think of the emotional piece, being able to really regulate yourself with whatever emotions are coming up for you and hold them with a gentle capacity. The other piece that you spoke about is those nervous system states in the window of tolerance. When we're really activated and dysregulated, we're moving into fight, flight, or freeze. Those are body-based trauma responses. They're not character flaws. Like a lot of people, they think of them as failure if they move into one of those. They're patterns of protection. They're protecting you. A lot of times when we're telling ourselves, oh, just stay calm, or we're saying that to our kids, just stay calm, our bodies don't necessarily know how, or they might feel, you said, unsafe. That's where sometimes parenting advice, it assumes like, okay, everyone has regulated nervous systems. Here's this beautiful script you can use, or, here's this mindset, switch to this mindset. And those are all so, so powerful. But some caregivers are parenting from that dysregulated place and they just need a little bit of some body calming, some nervous system calming. All those scripts and that mindset and those reframes, they're right there then for you. It's so much easier to access.
I'm pretty sure that the entire time I was raising my kids, I was in an activated state.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about regulation, really. I mean, this is a long time ago, for one thing. Even when my kids came home to me, it was 2007 or something, right? It's a long time ago.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot out there.
Yeah, and people weren't talking about this all the time, which would have helped me a lot had they been. But I just didn't know about it. So the idea of, regulating my body just wasn't a thing. I didn't even know that I was just operating like this all the time because the kids were so active and busy and dysregulated themselves that was my only choice, it felt like. And I was
Yeah.
following their nervous system, following their lead around how regulated or dysregulated they were. So mine was
Yeah.
just following them up and following them down and following them around. And then I don't think I ever led them with my nervous system, which is really powerful once you figure that out, right?
Yeah. That
So
is so insightful for you to acknowledge that too, and acknowledge that I would call that survival mode. Like you were parenting through survival mode and from a survival mode place. And so, yes, if you were activated a majority of the time, it would be harder for you to access that. And it does take consistent work. So I love your awareness about that and just how it's not your fault. There's no like blame there. There's no shame. Like you weren't taught that. And really, so many of us we're not taught any of this. And our kids aren't being taught this in school. And that's why I am so passionate about this. I am so intensely passionate because it needs to be taught and it is so valuable. And we can be teaching it. We can teach it to parents, we can teach it to kids, and they absorb it. And the shifts are transformational because once you start doing this type of work and you're regularly doing it, it is a felt sense. I think that you'll feel the difference within your household. Like you said, parenting from a regulated versus that activated or dysregulated nervous system is a big difference. So, and you can see it now, you can feel that difference now.
I can.
When you're in it, it's hard to feel it.
Oh, totally, totally. I mean, unless you're enlightened to it, you just don't. This is life, right? It's just your life. Wouldn't it be
Yeah.
great if every classroom teacher started every hour with a regulating sort of breath or some kind
Yeah.
of activity that's regulating? Wouldn't that be amazing for learning for kids?
Yes. I had out of my four kids, I had one that her second grade teacher would start with like she called it a mindful moment in the beginning of every day. And I was like, oh, she came home and told me about it. I'm like, yes, like a kindred spirit. Because it was like they're starting them off with that. I regularly, when I join staff meetings, when I'm on staff with a particular group or company, then I'll lead a simple grounding skill. It could be just what we just did before, or we'll do a couple more in this presentation, but it's something simple just to get in our bodies. Learning is so much more available to you when you're calm and when you're present. And that happens. Think about some of these examples from parenting. So think of a bedtime battle. You know, like you're getting ready for bed, there's all that. Is the kid listening to you? You know, when they're activated, when you're tired, when you're overstimulated, there's not a lot of connection that's happening nor listening. And then you're repeating, brush your teeth, go do this, go do this, go do this. You know, the frustration level rises. So think of approaching that from that calm nervous system where you can say, hey, let's do this. Let's connect about this. I'll help you. I'm walking alongside you. I'm staying calm. And my kid knows I'm not going to get elevated. That's such a difference. And there's co-regulation that's happening.
Yeah, and the predictability of that, right? So you can predict that it's going to go sideways and bad, or you can be predicting, this is always going to go, this is going to go well because mom's sweet.
Yeah.
But you're not sweet when you're not connected with your whole self, right? You're just trying to
Yeah.
get it done.
Yes, you're just trying, your survival. It's
Yeah.
just trying to get it done. And everyone's under stress. I really want to emphasize too that we're not going to take away the stress. Like all of the skills and everything that we do in this situation, all the mindset, all of the physical somatic piece, we're not reducing or taking away stress. We're changing how we respond to it. And instead of reacting to stress, we're responding to it because life happens and it's going to continue to happen literally for the rest of our lives. And so we're not going to stop that, but can we respond in a way that feels aligned to us? Yes. You know, and that's the part that I'm so passionate about is teaching these skills that anyone can use in the moment really simply. And thinking about other things, I mentioned bedtime. Think about sibling conflict or if you're triggered by conflict. I know when my kids start fighting, all of a sudden I'm like, I'm not even part of the conversation, but just hearing it, I get activated. That's because there's stress around me, there's conflict around me. So I have to really work hard to reduce and calm myself, and then I can respond to them and I can help them navigate that conflict. Some people might be dealing with like school refusal. Same thing, how we're approaching that. Or we talked about conflict, but like arguing within other family systems, whether it's an immediate family member, maybe it's if they're involved in the court system, you know, with any sort of custody, things like that. There's lots of those situations that are arising. So it's just that feeling of like feeling instantly reactive.
Yeah.
Would you want to do another one just to kind of like help us to feel this difference?
I do. I was just about to say that as soon as there was a breath. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, let's do it again.
Yeah. So let's kind of do the same thing. And the way I like to structure these is we do a breath, we do a gentle movement of some sort. Sometimes the movement is just our eyes, sometimes it's more of a physical movement. And then we do some sort of healing affirmation. And the reason that I structure it that way is because the breath helps calm our nervous system and reconnect with our nervous system, activating that parasympathetic, which is your rest and digest. The movement helps to move that energy, whether it's emotional or physical energy. And the healing is that mindset piece that I'm feeling into this different mindset and I'm embodying it. So that's why I like to do breathe, move, and heal. So let's just do a simple one that could be used really anytime you're feeling that activation. Again, just feel your feet on the ground. We just want to connect with the earth. Feel free to soften or close the eyes if you feel comfortable and take a nice slow inhale through your nose. And now we're going to exhale a little longer through the mouth. Good. And inhale again, nice and slow. And nice long exhale. Give a gentle sigh. It's called a physiological sigh. Breathe in again. Nice slow exhale. And notice that that exhale is telling your nervous system, I'm okay. I'm right here. Now inhale, just gently lift up your shoulders towards your ears. And then exhale, soften them, let them melt down. Inhale again, lift them up. And this time drop them heavier with a thud. Good. And do that again. Inhale. You choose how to release them, soft or a little harder. Good. And now just relax your jaw. Keep your feet pressing gently into the floor. And then bring your hands together at your heart. So your palms are touching, pressing together at your heart. Push your feet into the ground. Press your palms together and take another nice deep breath. Feel that energy flow. Exhale, soften, push your hands together. Feel that energy. Good. And then release the hands and just gently bring them to the heart. Feel the warmth of your hands upon your heart. Feel that connection there. Take another nice deep breath in and out. And now breathe in and gently say to yourself, I can pause. And exhale. I can pause. And just notice how those words land for you. You get to pause in this moment. You don't need to solve everything. You don't need to have a solution or a fix. You don't need to jump or react. You can pause. Breathe that in. And a long, audible sigh. Notice as you soften your shoulders, relax your chest, relax your face. Just soften into this moment. Feel yourself anchored, your feet. Notice how you're anchored into the chair or the support beneath you. And notice the anchor of your hands touching your own body, feeling that connection. You're signaling to your body, you're right here. You're safe. You're in this moment. One more nice, slow, deep breath in. And that long, audible exhale. Good. And just notice how you feel. Always remember there's no right, there's no wrong. All of this is awareness and information. And you are exploring. You are creating a toolbox of skills or movements or breaths that help you. Good. And then just gently release the hands. Good. How'd that feel for you?
It was great. It took me about 3 or 4 breaths before I really felt again. I had already gotten a little, activated again, not a lot, but a little. And it
Yeah.
took me about 3 or 4 breaths before it actually let go, move down, right? Move down into my body. Yeah.
So that's beautiful information for you that you might need a little bit of a longer, like you might need 10 breaths potentially to really settle into that. That's lovely information today. Tomorrow it might be 2 breaths. 3 days from now it might be 20 breaths. But today you acknowledge, I think I need a couple more. So such beautiful insight.
So one other thing that I noticed was exhales that were just in and out through my nose were less releasing of stress than the ones that were forceful and the ones that were loud. The ones that had sound were much more releasing of stress than the ones without it. So that's what I noticed. Yeah.
Ooh, so that's again, I love that. And so you're exploring and feeling like, okay, what works for me is like you try humming next time. You could do like a just hum, or even like a sigh, or even like a gentle vocal. Any sort of movement in your vocal cords is great. And you're toning that vagus nerve while you're doing that. So that's beautiful. I love that awareness.
That's great. So now this
Yes.
all seems super duper simple. Is it all simple like this?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, it is. I know. It seems like it should be more complicated, but realistically, the hardest part about it, the most complicated part of it, is making time to do it and noticing when you might need it. And that's why I encourage people to do it regularly, consistently, similar to working out. If I have some fitness goals and I'm going once a week for an hour, that's great. That's beautiful. But if I'm going every single day for 7 to 10 minutes, that's going to be better. And nervous system work, especially, we're rewiring neural pathways. And so we're rewriting some of this code, that our body has accepted. And that's from old woundings, old stories, things like that. It might be inherited, generational trauma. Lots can go on, especially your audience, especially there's stuff that may not even be in awareness. And sometimes that stuff arises. That's okay. Acknowledge it and then continue these practices. We're not just doing it in the moment after a challenge or a rupture. We're not just doing an hour of it then. We're doing it regularly throughout the day. So that's why I really encourage this to be a consistent practice, because the more that you do it, the more it becomes second nature. And the more you're able to say, oh, okay, I know I need this. And what happens then is your nervous system responds, and the body is absolutely beautiful. It is miraculous because it can heal in this way. So even if there's old patterns of behavior, old trauma, old narratives in play, it can still heal. By practicing these things, you're teaching your body a new way, a new narrative. Anyone can learn that, whether you're a baby or you're, old, like any of it, anything. So that's the part that I really, really appreciate and really love as well.
I think it's really hard for parents, for anybody to believe that this matters, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we know that regulation matters, but that this breathing, like we breathe all the time. How come we're not
Yeah.
retired, you know?
Yeah.
How come
Yeah.
our just ordinary breathing didn't rewire us into this sort of, into the window of tolerance where we're all just in the flow? Yeah, I don't have a really good answer for that, except that most of us got wired during traumatic experiences.
Yes.
Difficult.
And we weren't taught how to properly breathe. If once you learn like a proper belly breath where you're taking your breath all the way down into your belly, you'll notice, oh my gosh, I'm only breathing right here, right to my neck, or I'm only breathing into my chest. That's not serving your body. You're not taking a full deep breath into your body, which that's where you're going to access more of the nervous system and you're going to access more of that calm. We just weren't taught how to do it. Honestly, babies do it that way. You can watch babies take those big breaths. You can see their belly moving. But then as we start to grow, we're rushing, we're involved in lots of like action and activities. So your breath is quicker and we're moving from thing to thing and we're excited more. And our culture is perpetuating it, unfortunately. There's always notifications and there's all these things going on. When do we just give ourselves permission to sit and I'm just going to sit and breathe?
Yeah.
Part of it feels like it's just not learned. It's just not taught and it's not practiced.
I'm thinking of in some faiths, before you eat dinner, you pray. And I'm thinking, I'm not of any faith that does that, but I'm thinking that was a practice that was actually probably very, very settling and very grounding for like the children at the table and the parents at the table to start off with slowing down and taking time to be grateful and to have a prayer, because that's very meditative in a lot of ways, right? It's slowing.
Yeah. And that's that action. Like you said, a lot of parents may feel like, okay, how is this so simple? And so my thought with that is the slowing down is the hard part. The actual activity of doing this is really pretty simple. And especially when you have a guide like yourself or me, who we're just giving it. We're saying, here's information for you, just follow along. Like all of my products are literally plug and play. You just push play, you follow along. You can do it with your child can do it alone, but it's really simple and it takes a majority of mine are less than 8 minutes. And a majority of them I try to keep down to 5 minutes because again, it needs to be accessible and it needs to be able to really work in the moment. And so you're noticing just within these 1 to 2 minute little demos that we're doing, some of them a little longer, but you're noticing, okay, I can get into that. You're tapping into that. So if that's happening for you and you're listening, you know that this modality is one that will work for you. So I encourage you to just keep exploring. But I think the piece that I really want to emphasize to those parents that are skeptical is that children read nervous systems more than words. So they're sensing a parent's nervous system as soon as they pick them up from school, as soon as they walk into the room, as soon as they go to wake them up in the morning, as they're putting them to bed. They're sensing that more than anything we're saying, more than any of our actions even. They're sensing our energy and our nervous systems. If you for those people that are like, well, how are they doing that? Try it. Just explore that. So think you're walking into a room stressed. Maybe you come home from work or maybe something's happening for you. You get off of a phone call, walk into the room stressed and see how your child responds. How about a rushed morning? How many of us are rushed in the mornings and you're trying to get your kids out and you've got to sign this, mom, do this, da, 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 da. You're doing all this. Put this Band-Aid on. We got to get in the car. We got to go, go, go. How are they responding to you?
Yeah.
Right. That's another example. Or escalation. When there's one trigger in the household and it's a repeated trigger, mine for a long time was spilled smoothies. It sounds silly, but like, oh my gosh, I was like so tired of cleaning up smoothies, but I wanted them to have the healthy smoothie. And so it's like I would get triggered because I'm like another mess until I started shifting it, take a deep breath. This spill is a gift. This is happening for a reason because I need to slow down. Once I like shifted that slightly and then I could calm my body down, cleaning it up was fine. It was fun. We all did it together. It was fine. But I had to kind of like work through that. And ironically, I spill so many less smoothies now because I'm not rushed. I'm not like in that mode of like, go, go, go. The other thing I want you to try if you're unsure about this type of modality and you're a parent is try this skill and then connect with your kid. So try softening your tone. Try softening your body posture. My favorite is when my kid gives me a hug and I'm not in the mood to hug or I'm like rushing from thing to thing. Instead of like standing there rigid, patting them on the back, I take a deep breath and I soften into the hug. I soften and sometimes I close my eyes and I just picture like them connecting with them, like feeling their heartbeat. I might take a breath with them. It's softening into it. Notice how they respond versus that rigid, like that tight, I'm in a quick hurry hug. Notice how they respond. So those are some simple ways that parents can kind of test and explore this a little bit for themselves. What do you think about that?
No, I think that's great. I was just imagining the softening into a hug. I know in my office, I'm not a big initiator of hugs in my office because I don't know if people want to hug or not. And I don't know, don't want to impose myself on them, basically. But there
Yeah.
are people who initiate it with me, right? And then there are some people who initiate a hug, but they give it to me in that stiff way. And then
Yeah.
I don't know what hug this is doing for either of us, what this hug is doing. And then there are people, though, who really want to give me a hug. And then they just settle into it. And it's like a completely different hug. And it's like, oh, that's so lovely.
Yeah, they like
So,
melt into it.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
really different experience altogether.
Well, and the other real piece that a lot of science doesn't talk about, but children actually borrow our nervous systems until they build their own and they build their own regulation capacity. So thinking of it that way, the latest science I read, it was like 7 or 8 before they're actually managing their own nervous systems and managing that capacity. So think of it that way too, like especially our younger children and potentially, some of your audience, their children may not have been with them for a period of that time. And so thinking that way too, like what nervous systems were they potentially experiencing or what were they absorbing at that early age? And so your nervous system is so valuable. And I'm saying that not as a way of like, oh, this is intense pressure to do this work, more of an invitation of you get to do this. This is an empowering, beautiful experience for both of you. So that's a piece that I really like as well.
And it's what our kids really, really need because often they did miss out on all that love wiring, right? That love, soft, gentle, safe wiring. And so
Yeah.
they come to us pretty activated. And when we try to give them hugs or they try to hug us, they are not particularly calming hugs. They're not particularly regulated hugs. And that's by design, right? Because who came before us perhaps was not safe. And so they were just like, quick hug, get away, right? Stay safe.
Safety.
And that came with them. And then they carry that forward with us. And if we're not careful, we can catch that a little bit like, oh, well, he doesn't like to be hugged or she doesn't like to be held close or anything like that, which is true, at once true, but also just a programming from a different time where it wasn't safe, right?
Yes. Yes, you are 100% right. And I completely agree with you. And that's where this work can be so valuable and it can be so empowering for people because they get to choose. They get to choose how that happens. And then they get to model that. I just feel that modeling and that co-regulation piece is really, really valuable.
Yeah, so much so. Do you have one more for this,
Yeah, absolutely.
for the
So
parents? We're going to get to
let's
the
do
kids
it.
later.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a simple one where we're just going to kind of breathe again, move, and then heal. And we're just going to connect with ourselves to really just like bring things in, slow things down so that you can feel this connection and really integrate what it is that we learned. So to start, actually just draw up a situation where you feel there's some tension. In your awareness, just notice maybe it's a interaction with a child where you just feel there's a little tension. And again, no fault of anyone's. There's just some tension there, and you're aware of it. Notice how you feel in your body. And as you notice that, just key into it. Just have that awareness. Oh, I notice maybe heaviness in my chest. Maybe I notice a little bit of movement in my belly. Maybe I notice my shoulders creeping up and getting tense. Maybe my neck is tightening. Are my hands making fists? Am I clenching my jaw? So we're just drawing awareness to what is happening for you in this moment. Good. Now that you have that awareness, we're just going to take a nice deep breath in and a slow breath out. Good. Now we're going to take a double inhale. So breathe in, super long audible exhale. Breathe in, super long exhale. One more nice breath breathe in, long exhale. Good. Now inhale, gently lift up your heels. And then exhale, drop them heavy. Inhale, lift up your heels. Drop them heavy. Again, inhale, lift. Exhale, drop. Just notice how that feels. And this would be easy to do standing up as well. Good. Now take your hands and gently rub them together. And I want you to take your hands and place them on the body space where you felt a little bit more of that tension. When we brought that situation into your awareness, if it was your chest, just bring your hands to your chest for a moment. If it was your belly, take your hands there, your throat, anywhere where you notice that tension. And now breathe in and take your breath down into that area. And notice with that breath there that you get to soften. You get to release a little bit of it if you choose. You get to let go. And let's breathe in and gently say that to yourself. Breathe in and say, I release. And as you exhale, release that breath and say, I let go. I release. I let go. And notice how your hands on this area, you can feel the warmth. Your awareness is there. You get to choose to move some of that energy. And now on that area, just gently make small circles. Just rubbing your hand in a gentle, small, soothing circle. Good. And then gently tap the area. We're just tapping. Breathe in, say, I release. Exhale, I let go. Gently tap. Good. Now take both hands, rub them together, create a little bit of warmth, and we're just going to brush. So brush down your shoulders and your arms and your hands. Do that a couple times. Good. Brush down the front of the chest, down the belly, down the fronts of the legs. Again, this could be done standing as well. Brush the back, maybe up onto the shoulders a little. Good. Brush down the hair and the scalp. Nice and slow. Feel free to soften the eyes if you wish. And bring the hands to the forehead and brush from the forehead out towards the ears. Nice and gentle sweeps. And then take the hands to the bridge of the nose and gently brush out towards the ears. And then go from the ears, gently brush down to the chin, right along the jawline, nice and slow. And then pause and just cradle your own face and head, holding, cradling, offering connection, offering a nurturing touch. You are held in this moment. Take a nice deep breath and a slow exhale. And then gently release the hands and just notice. Feel free to return to that thought of that tense situation. Just notice if anything has shifted or moved for you. Even 1%. Welcome that in and just offer yourself gratitude. You shifted or moved it even slightly. Maybe it's even dissipated. Whatever it is, welcome it in and just say thank you. You doing this valuable work is so important for you, your family, and generations to come. Take one more nice deep breath and a long, slow exhale. Good. And then just gently blink your eyes and take a moment to just look around the room, just orienting yourself. Maybe find one thing that you like to look at and just letting yourself smile. Invite in a little joy. Take another nice deep breath and exhale. Good. How did that feel for you?
I love that. I love
Yeah,
that so much. I love the petting. I
I
don't know
know.
what you call it. It's like being petted, and it's
Yeah.
so sweet. And then the holding of your own face. It is like being held by a loving, nurturing parent. I don't know what that feels like, but I'm imagining this is what it feels like.
Yes. You're creating that. And
Mhm.
I like to, one that I regularly like to use with people, especially if they don't have that example, I can mother myself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
That's
can
what it
mother
felt like. Oh, I can mother myself right here. I use this, what do
brushing.
you call it, brushing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I use this all the time. I teach this to people all the time. And I love that one. I love just holding those deep muscles right there, the biggest muscles up there. I love that
Yeah.
thing. That's like the best. That's like self-hugging, right?
What I did. It's
I
doing a bunch
know.
of things for me. My Zoom sometimes does it. Sometimes I can do balloons too. We'll see.
Confetti.
Isn't that so funny?
That is so
It's
funny.
lovely.
Oh, yours really does do that. That's
I
amazing.
don't know how to turn it off. So sometimes it does happen during my therapy sessions, and I'm like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I'm not actually celebrating what you just told me.
But it was at a
Anyway.
perfect time. It did.
Yeah. Well, that's beautiful. I love that experience resonated with you and that you were able to go deeper. And so that's what a lot of this somatic work what does for people. And honestly, that's some of the reason that some people are a little more skeptical to step into it because it is some big movement. You went deep and you acknowledged your woundings and then also your ability to nurture yourself. So you had some deeper work, some acknowledgement, some awareness, some healing that happened within that 3 minute period there. Beautiful. And somatics does that. It like moves and it shakes and it really gets us going because a lot of the trauma, as we've talked about, is stored in our bodies. And so, again, talking is beautiful, reframes, all of it is beautiful. When we add in this additional component, it can be transformational.
Yeah, I love that. I need to do more somatics in my work. Yeah, I do. For
Oh,
myself. For
yeah,
myself.
absolutely. Absolutely. Everything I teach you, I regularly practice. Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much. We're coming to the end of our session now. I love that there are some practices here in this 45 minutes or so that people can just tune back into and follow and get the nice sound of your voice. Your voice is very soothing in that way, right? And then it actually I don't know if my listeners right now, sometimes they're driving and they can't do the things, but it was transformational, especially this last one. I just let myself be in it, you all, and it was lovely. I felt just loved by myself for a moment, and that was just really nice.
Yeah.
So I really want to encourage you to try it.
Oh, beautiful. Me too. I'm in agreement.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today with Layne Burkette, who is one of my favorite people. I love working with you. I love that people have a chance to work with you and they can go get 5 minutes, a bite of something in your at your website. And they can do that by going to the show notes and just finding your website and
Perfect.
going there, right? That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you
And
so much.
you're welcome. And we'll see you all in the next episode because we're going to have another episode for kids. What are we calling that one, Layne?
From survival to safety. So co-regulation tools that actually help kids.
Yay. Okay. That was us the next time for the kids.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Thank you for joining me on Unmuted Love. And remember, your love matters when more than love is required.